You know, in forests all over the world, there's this secret war being waged. It's a tiny, microscopic battle that decides pretty much everything about how trees live, die, and are reborn. And today, we're gonna pull back the curtain on it.
Let me ask you something. When you're out walking and you see a decaying log, what do you really see? Probably just, rot. But what if that's not the whole story? What if what we call rotting is actually a super sophisticated chemical disassembly line?
Yeah, this is way more than just things falling apart. This is a story of chemical warfare between two different kinds of fungi, and they're fighting over one of the toughest materials in all of nature. And believe it or not, their conflict has literally shaped the ground beneath our feet.
And the big bad boss in this whole war is a substance called lignin. Seriously, think of it like the concrete that gives a tree its incredible strength. It is so tough that without these fungi, dead trees would just pile up forever. They'd never break down.
Okay, so to really get what's going on with these fighters, we've got to understand the battlefield itself. What exactly is inside this log that they're fighting over?
Well, the grand prize, the thing they're all after, is cellulose. These are these long, whitish fibers, kind of like the rebar inside the concrete. For a fungus, this stuff is pure energy. It is the main course.
But, of course, protecting all that delicious cellulose is our old friend lignin. It's this dark, super tough, nutrient-poor glue that holds the whole thing together. It's the ultimate gatekeeper.
So now it's time to meet the two specialized combatants in this takedown process. And each one has a radically different strategy for getting past that lignin to get to the good stuff.
First up, we've got brown rot. We're gonna call this one the sniper. And why a sniper? Because it's a picky eater with a very precise strategy. It doesn't want to waste energy fighting that tough lignin head-on. Nope. Instead, it uses these specialized chemicals to just sneak right past the defenses, dissolve that valuable cellulose, and leave the tough lignin structure pretty much untouched. And this super specific attack, it leads to a very distinct look. Because the fungus is eating the white cellulose fibers and leaving the dark lignin behind, the wood turns this deep chocolatey brown. It totally loses its integrity and cracks into these dry, brick-like chunks you see here.
Okay, now for its opponent, white rot, or as we're calling it, the tank. This fungus is an absolute heavy hitter. It is not picky. It eats everything. It has these incredibly rare enzymes that let it do what almost nothing else on Earth can do, just demolish lignin. It's the brute force demolition expert of the forest.
And what you get is the total opposite of brown rot, because the tank eats the dark lignin, it leaves behind those pale, whitish cellulose fibers. The wood gets all soft, stringy, and fibrous. You can often just peel it apart like string cheese. It's wild.
So, you see, it really just boils down to this. Two completely different approaches to the exact same problem. You've got the sniper, a chemical specialist that bypasses the obstacle, and you've got the tank, a brute force generalist that just smashes right through it.
Now this little microscopic battle, it didn't just stay in the forest. No way. The outcome of this war, and specifically the evolution of one of these fighters, fundamentally changed the geology and even the atmosphere of our entire planet.
And this brings us to this absolutely fascinating gap in Earth's history. So about 300 million years ago, trees evolved their super tough lignin. But here's the crazy part. The tank, the white rot fungus, it just didn't exist yet. So for 60 million years, trees would die and they would just pile up. They couldn't properly decompose. This massive pile of wood got compressed over millions of years, and that became the huge coal deposits we mine today. Then, once white rot finally evolved its lignin demolishing toolkit, large-scale coal formation on Earth basically just stopped.
So this contrast leads to two completely different destinies for the forest floor. The sniper, brown rot, leaves behind that crumbly, dark wood that becomes stable, long-lasting carbon in the soil. Meanwhile, the tank, white rot, demolishes everything, and in doing so, it rapidly releases nutrients back into the ecosystem, almost like a fertilizer. They're doing two totally different jobs, and both are absolutely essential.
So, how does this ancient epic battle actually apply to us? Well, believe it or not, you can use this knowledge as a kind of secret weapon in your own garden.
Okay, here's the big takeaway for all you gardeners out there. If you want to build fantastic long-term soil structure and improve how well it holds water, you want the legacy of the sniper, that crumbly brown rotted wood. It's packed with stable carbon. But if your plants need a quick boost of nutrients right now, you want the work of the tank, That stringy, white-rotted wood acts just like a fast-acting fertilizer.
And this idea extends to growing food, too. As the quote says, when you see someone cultivating shiitake or oyster mushrooms on hardwood logs, what they're essentially doing is farming the tank. They are feeding those white-rot fungi the tough, lignin-rich wood that they evolved to demolish.
So we'll end on this thought. The next time you see a fallen log in the forest, you'll be able to read its story. You won't just see decay anymore. You'll see the work of a sniper or a tank, and you'll get that what looks like an ending is really just the beginning of something new.